What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Nourishing Holy Tribe Football Podcast. It's me, AY, coming to you from the beautiful state capital, the blue state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. To my west, D-Berg, what's up?
Finally mended. My football season rite of passage most years seems to either be COVID or seasonal allergies. So I had to deal with that. Threw off my schedule a smidge during the opening weekend, but lived to tell the tale. So I'm good.
Indeed.
And Pitt didn't lose to Kent State, so that's good.
Pitt lived to tell the tale.
Looked impressive. We'll get to them in a minute. Can to my east.
Things are good. Things are good. Excited. We have started. I'm enjoying this new kickoff. The new kickoff they have going on. Very funny.
The dynamic.
I'm excited though. A lot of interesting stuff that happened last week. A lot of interesting stuff. A lot of people really didn't look good except for Georgia.
I guess before we do get into week two, we got a nice little slate to go over. Week one thoughts. Dan, you guys looked good.
Well, I mean, it was fuzzy into the third quarter with the ridiculous fumbled punt. I guess it was ruled a caught punt or a fielded punt, followed by a fumble shortly thereafter that was then returned for a touchdown by Kent State. That was embarrassing. Other than that, it reminded me of some of the plays being made when Pitt played Wofford last year. Now, I'm sure Kent State is better than the Wofford team, but glad they scored there, but is that really a decision that is going to work against pretty much anybody else on the schedule? So time will tell as they get an uptick in presumably an uptick in opponent difficulty coming up at the Nipples Stadium.
I think you didn't have the same cachet that some of our other wins garnered across the country, but nonetheless,
no.
AY and my own win, though I'm not a Penn State fan, I was there on the ground. I'd say probably two of the four most impressive wins of the week. I'd probably throw Georgia's win.
I hadn't taken the time to rank them.
And Miami's. And Miami's wins up there, very impressive. AY, you want to touch on yours? Going into hostile territory and winning a Rutgers Penn State Classic.
Yeah, never a doubt. Felt good during the game. Felt good. I was rather mum within us three and on the pod here. I had the reverse off-season feeling. All off-season felt not great, and then week of, as we got closer and closer the days before, I definitely felt better and better about it. It pretty much just went exactly like we thought it was going to go. Just a defensive battle. Notre Dame doing just enough to get out of there with a win. I was very impressed with
not just the win, the cover also.
The cover, yes.
Double-digit win, no less.
Double-digit win, yeah. I mean, I was digging into some of the metrics and some of the stuff that that you missed live, but just very encouraged with the O-line, which was the hot topic. Knapp allowed one pressure all game. Mitchell Evans played 10 snaps, easing him back. And Howard Cross was on the snap count too. Leonard ran it when he had to towards the second half when they did, and the line kind of leaned on A&M in the second half, and the rushing got going. Just great. Obviously, a lot to work on, but very encouraging. And
didn't get a chance to look at Angeli, but we can't all win.
No, not yet. Ideally, which we'll get into in the preview, Leonard does not run much at least this week. Purdue, who knows me, Hudson Card and Company lit it up last week, and they have a bye before Irish next week. But try and work on the pass game a little bit, but that's fine. Just get out of there with a win. And just to credit to the defense, they were awesome. It was an aid from Connor Wigman, but he wasn't great. But I mean,
yeah, he's gross.
Notre Dame did make a move. I saw a lot of the film study. They were staying disciplined with their gaps and pressures, and just making him not. He wasn't able to set his feet, and he was not good when his feet were not set. But yeah, good to get out there with a win. Now the only downside is this week has been gross.
It looks gross on paper, which means, or you mean this week for you has been gross?
This week's just been gross. Just everywhere you look is Notre Dame favored the rest of the games. Notre Dame basically in the playoff now.
They're in.
Just all the Irish talking heads are just, they cannot help themselves, just sipping so much Kool-Aid. I just had to stop. I didn't even get to listen to any Northern Illinois previews. I just did some digging on my own because it's just,
is Rocky Lombardi still there?
Is it too much slurpage?
It is. It's even from Pete Sampson, who was my go-to, who is usually the least slurpy. So, Kent, how was Morgantown?
Morgantown was hospitable, very nice. Honestly, didn't get to mingle amongst the natives too much. It was in and out business trip.
Probably for the better.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many were really left around by the end of the game. You could really feel the stadium deflate. I feel there were probably like 2,000 kids that were back in there after halftime. I think, especially as we're reflecting on it, and I never really truly felt threatened by West Virginia, especially after the first couple of series and the jitters getting out of the teams and Penn State's defense settling in, as well as their offense by the second quarter, getting a couple of nice throws from Drew, getting them comfortable. I really didn't feel that there was a threat from West Virginia. The question is, and people, I think, in large part because of the hype and the line coming down as much as it did, Pat McAfee being there, all the external noise has made this into a more, built it up into a more impressive win than I think it may be. Sure, I do think West Virginia had a good season last year. I do think it was a little bit of a paper tiger type of season where, you look at the quarterbacks they played and some of the wins they had. Although they did lose Hail Mary to Houston, right? I mean, they could easily been 10-2. I do think it was, or not 10-2, 10-3. Yeah, 10-3. I do think it was. They've come in with some respect, and I think they're going to be a decent team. But I do think there's maybe a little overvalued, especially with the hype and now people putting as much stock into the performance and how well the team did, which they did perform well. They performed as they should as a top 10 team on the road against, I think, what should be a rather middling Big 12 team. I think it may be built up a little bit. Though it's not to say these improvements, things like that, are not welcome to see, especially against a team with, relatively speaking, should have somewhat of a pulse. You didn't see any of it really last year, aside from, one big play against them to open the game. You really didn't see much. You saw two big runs from Nick Singleton, which is awesome to see. And then the passing game, obviously, with the number one receiver, Trey Wallace, showing up. The other concerning thing, though, is, really didn't see much out of any of the other receivers, which is something that, we'll see if that's something that will become an Achilles heel going forward. But, hey, you go on the road to open the season with a win. I think you can, in the fashion that they did, you can't really ask for more. You now go into basically a bye for the next 3 weeks. Bowling Green, I do think, is one of the better. They're perennially one of the better MAC teams. And you go into a bye, and then a Kent State. So you got basically a lot of nicks and bruises here from Penn State's team. You can afford to rest some of them. Get ready as you head into Big Ten play with Illinois at the end of the month. They don't go on the road until they go all the way out to LA on October 10th. So. I think it's the longest stretch I've seen with Penn State being at going without a road game in a while, and then they're not at home for another month until November, basically. But happy to see the win. Happy can't say that I didn't expect it. When it fell down there to the 8 range, 7.5, I really, was licking my chops there. Went in with a couple more units, and felt Penn State would control it the way that they did. So glad to see.
Yeah, I was very unimpressed with West Virginia.
Yeah.
And I was impressed with Aller's average depth of target, which was very high.
Yes.
We'll see if that continues.
The question is, was it West Virginia being, middling and pretty average, or was it actual improvement from Penn State? I don't think we'll find out.
We're not going to find out until
Maybe till that October road
maybe
game.
USC. Yes. Yeah.
Which looks vastly improved on defense.
Yeah. Just like we said last week. Believe it when I see it. Not really falling for it. And we did see it here a little bit, but there's still a little bit of that fool's gold there. But yes, very impressive for sure.
Indeed.
SC did look
SC
pretty
looked
good.
good.
I think they're good. I mean, week one obviously is very people just starving for headlines and hyperbole. The USC looked good, but long way to go for them too.
Yeah. I mean, you must have seen it from your old coach and his antics showing up again.
It was beautiful with coming off the win, USC with the SOS, LSU with the tough loss, and then the cherry on top was all the post game memes from the press conference. Yeah, it was a great capper to a Sunday.
Yeah, and he threw Nussmeier under the bus. Wasn't Nussmeier 22 for 24 at one point? He played
very well, yes.
And then he threw Nussmeier. I mean, I don't think it was actually throwing him under the bus, but I know it was read that way for some. He said that Miller Moss outplayed him, which I guess you could technically say that, but he was far from the reason they lost. Honestly, they shouldn't have lost that game, LSU. I don't know how they did. They were about to put it away somehow, could not get a first down or the touchdown, and then ended up having to give it back and lost. Do you believe is that fool's gold when you see defense? I mean, LSU is not a bad offensive team. They have a really good offensive line. I don't know what was going on with them. Maybe they'll need some time to gel. But do you put stock in the defensive performance? They got some timely wins, really timely wins.
We're putting stock in what, USC's defense?
Yeah.
I mean, it can't be much worse. It looked definitely better. Yeah, their thing in the offseason was we saw how they performed in the bowl game, and people were saying if they could replicate that again, which they did, USC could be pretty good again. I think it's just one of these teams who their schedule's pretty difficult, so
yeah,
I think they'll be better than the record shows end of the year.
I did not realize the Chefs have Ariza on their team.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back. Good for him. Other headlines in the top 10. Michigan, it was 16-10 midway through the fourth, I think, before they were able to put it away. They started the headliner, Orgy, could not win the starting job. Davis Warren winning it.
I don't know if anybody won that job.
Yeah. I guess Orgy has not won the job. Do you think the level of concern for this team? I'm sure we can talk about it here in a little bit with their big game coming up this weekend, but
yeah, I think we'll just save that for them.
Yeah, I mean the pick six from their corner, very pretty to watch. He's going to be a first rounder, and I don't know. I was concerned a little bit with what I saw there. I as a Penn State fan, if I was one, I would have been licking my chops and wishing we were playing them this year because they didn't look good. And if they continue, I don't know. I don't think that they were really holding anything back. I don't think that they would have, but I think it's not good.
You mean with Texas on deck, they wouldn't have held anything back against Fresno State?
No, I'm saying I don't think that that's necessarily a thing that they I guess like a lot more running from Orgy, they could have brought that in, but I think I generally don't and have started to not believe in teams holding stuff back. And maybe that's my own viewing and the team that I view the most, and people say, oh, maybe they're holding this stuff back. I think 4 out of 5 times when people have said that, there's nothing being held back. So
I agree with that.
Not always, but they're definitely like Pitt in 2016. There's probably not a better case I can think of. Very, very vanilla and
Narduzzi is very, very. I think has a track record of doing that against
cagey, yes,
bad teams.
It's definitely a thing that can be done.
Yeah, right.
And but that's why play these.
At least from my own personal experience, if I've seen something that looks bad and thought that maybe they're holding something back, I've been wrong most times. I think.
That's true. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
So I will go with my bet here. I think against some of the better teams, they're going to struggle here, especially if they continue with Davis Warren here. I think it is a case where they tried to build the offense with Orgy in mind, and he wasn't good enough throwing it. I think that they just couldn't do it, which should be troubling, I think.
Yeah.
We've got a number of big blowouts here: Texas, Alabama, Tennessee. Nico looking good. I'm excited to see him. I'm on that game here for them against NC State. The Thursday night game. What do you guys think of Dion? I think it looked like more of the same. He couldn't get it done, or at least against the spread. He got it done on the scoreboard. He couldn't get it done for us. We all had him -10.
I imagine we can give thoughts on that for the
Oh, that's true.
There too.
That's true. And then I think last ones to touch on, Miami. Are you buying into the hype?
Oh, I'm still not now. They're gonna have to. I mean, you think about it. Think about even that 2017 team.
Right.
How that ended.
But that one didn't have an offense like this one seems to have, right?
Yeah.
That one was built on the turnover chain.
Yep.
Iowa's offense, are you buying stock? 40 point outburst.
No.
Definitely not there.
Okay. I want to highlight Tataro McMillan with that 300-something yard game he had. Absolutely incredible.
Oh, Tet is so nice.
Yeah. Yep. And then we can end on the final game of the weekend, right? Unless there's more that you guys want to touch on here in that first week. Oregon struggling with Idaho. That was gross. I don't think they were holding anything back there, or necessarily. Maybe they were holding stuff back, and then they couldn't. I know they had some injuries they were dealing with.
I'll get into my Oregon thoughts during that game. Okay,
very good. Then FSU, since they don't have a game to get into later on, they're 0-2 now. We don't need to save any stuff for later on.
No, yeah. Either those two, both of those opponents are not save stuff for.
No,
it's in the vein of like when you're a 20-point underdog or favorite, wherever they were against Fresno State, and then you have a giant game against Texas on deck.
Well, I have Florida State as my 9 seed in the playoff predictions, so I think
got to run the table.
Yeah, got to run the table to make that.
I think I had LSU in there, so we both have strikes.
Well, I have 2. Your strike is much more manageable than my strike.
That's true.
I don't know what I subscribe to here because obviously the portal worked for them last year. I do know that the Florida State fans have been complaining for a while about his recruiting ability as far as high school goes and building of the program. But I think there's a gross misinterpretation or like it's when you're coming out into the season and people are talking about their defensive line being the best line in the country, and then seeing what these teams are doing, rolling up yardage on the ground, I think there's some type of disconnect here with what's coming out of the program and what they are seeing of themselves, and then what's actually out there and performing. It's really, really something I feel like you don't see often. How stark it is, and how different it is when it comes to the actual performance on the field.
Yeah, I mean, it's to give them ever so slightly slack. That's a weird start to a season to have to play early in Ireland and then come back for another conference game, even though it was on Labor Day. But they should have won both of those games.
They should have. I think it's one, the manner in which they got absolutely bullied and trucked over on the ground in both games. But then two, the guy that you spent, definitely multiple six figures on at quarterback. Though I know they.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. It's set up like baseball, so I don't put anything into that. If they had a cap, that's one thing, but there's no. Yeah, I don't. I'll just put that thought out there. I look at it like, okay, yeah, I mean, it sucks that the Dodgers didn't get whatever out of whoever, but there's, they'll be fine financially.
No, I'm not saying that from a financial standpoint. I'm not talking about the money sinking there, but you put your faith in a guy that hasn't really been good the last couple of years throughout his career, not just a couple of years. I guess had slight improvement at Oregon State, and then expected to make this turn. Some of those throws were just absolutely putrid on Monday night. It's sad to see, honestly, because he's always had the arm talent. He's somewhat athletic out there with his wheels, and it's a case of I don't know if it's the yips or if it's just it definitely seems like he's in his own head. I think the pressure's getting to him. It's tough to see for a kid. That you're hoping for success. I was hoping he would prove the haters wrong. I know he's been kind of trolled a little bit, especially with the pedigree coming out of high school. But it's I think it is time. You got to go to the backup Brock. I forget his last name. Brock something.
Yeah, what the hell is that guy's name that came in? Yeah, that's what I was wondering if that was.
He. I mean, he's not a slouch. He was 4-star coming out of high school. I think it may be time to take a look at him. But yeah. Any other week one thoughts?
I don't think so, no.
NC State looked gross in that first game against Western Carolina. I don't know what they were doing. All right. Do we have any news and notes for week 2? I see we do. Yeah. You want to dive in there, AY?
I do, yes. Week 2 news and notes. The Bluegrass Commonwealth Drummer. You saw Western Kentucky in the summertime announced a whiteout for this Eastern Kentucky game. And then an email from Eastern Kentucky the other day on jersey confirmation said, hey, we're wearing whites. Sorry. Hilltoppers were pissed, and then Eastern Kentucky trolled them with a tweet of their jerseys in all whites. So fantastic.
Very good.
Very good. Cooper Manning, you see he paid the Graduate Hotel to fly a Texas flag outside in Ann Arbor this week.
Thank you, Cooper.
So Wolverine's not happy. And a shout out to CMU from week 1, Central Michigan, the Chippewas. They won, 66 to something? Maybe nothing. Stat line, incredible. 3 pass touchdowns, 3 rush touchdowns, a kick return touchdown, a punt return touchdown, a pick 6, and a field goal.
Amazing.
Everyone got
all 17 phases of the game.
I saw
the Mac attack.
The post-game game ball went to the team for everyone contributing.
Nice touch.
Which was a nice touch there.
Maybe he'll get rehired down there in Gainesville.
And I guess my final note, which would be next, but I just thought of it. We have to update on my other teams. Wild got outgained by 5 yards per play, which is
yikes.
Which is utterly Awful. They scored the buzzer against Sparky. That team is bad. I've been waiting all week for this Wyoming-Idaho line, which could honestly be under a field goal. Is not good.
We don't know what it is yet.
No, I haven't found it yet. JMU rolled, obviously, picking up Chesney picking up where Signetti left off. And speaking of Signetti, punching it in at the end of the game to go over, to cover the spread, winning over Hoosier Nation, pulling his best Jimmy Franklin late in the game.
Yes.
So there you have. There's your week 1 news and pre-week 2 news as well.
All right.
I have one more piece, but I think I'm going to save it for the locks as part of my campaign here. But we'll get to that. We have a juicy slate here in week 2. 1, 2, 3, 12, 13 games. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with the big noon. Texas traveling to Ann Arbor.
Clear schedule.
Wolverines catching 7.5. We just went over the Orgy Warren thing. Texas rolled last week over Colorado State. Held Horton to 3 catches. Arch got in. Impressive showing there. 52-0, I think it was. Again, 7.5 here. And pretty much what Can said about the struggles Michigan had and just not really impressive, fortunate with that pick 6 and everything. I agree with him, all that. I'm still taking Michigan here.
Oh.
7.5.
At all.
That's a lot of points. I know they're a shell of themselves last year. And both teams were really good last year too. But I think they're just going to just ground and pound here. I mean, Texas knows it too. Texas knows they're going to run the ball. No tempo. Few possessions. And I'm not sold on that Texas rush D. I know coming into the year, that was the big thing, losing Murphy and who was our big D tackle they had last year? But they're both gone, and question marks are still there, I think. And they're going to be tested here. I don't love Donovan Edwards as a running back. I think he's more of an RB2, not a lead back. But
it's hilarious that he's had the biggest games of his career in the biggest stages, and then has largely just not been there.
And I think that definitely helps people think. It makes people think, oh, this guy's so good. No, he's better as a change of pace guy. He needs Blake Corum back there with him. But yeah, I'm going to go Michigan here. Keep it close. HP, Horns win by a field goal. Low-scoring game, 23-20.
I want a good game. I'm extremely excited for this. I don't think I would bet this with a 10-foot pole, but I do have lingering doubts with the Davis Ward. I do think they'll lean into Orgy a lot here with this game. I think you'll see a heavy dose of him running. The question is, can he hit him over the top and catch him in one of these, where they're loading up the box and in a passing situation, can they hit on it? I do think you're right. They'll take the air out of the ball. Texas, I think they'll keep it close here for a little bit, but I do like Texas here with their receivers. They got Bond back there and a bunch of tools. Even without a running game, I think they'll have enough here to spread Michigan's defense out, wear them down. I do think the defense is good, and Johnson is awesome, but I do think they'll hit them for at least 1 or 2 big plays, and I don't think Michigan will have enough in the form of counter punches with big plays to be able to hold up. It is right at that 7.5. I will take a late cover for Texas. I'll go 27 to 16.
All right, I'm with Can here. Wanted to take the buy low spot on the Wolves, but I could see what we were discussing earlier about the offense just maybe being a disaster, as the law of averages would suggest. And I think that's really the only rationale I'm using for this game. Excited to watch it and see what comes of it.
I agree.
'Cause I think I had Michigan in my playoff, right?
We'll look at it now.
I can't remember how the math worked out on it.
You have Michigan at number 9.
Yeah. So
There you go.
we'll see.
I thought Cam might start week 2. Start pushing pillars.
I
Not yet.
don't think Cam's gonna need to be doing much pillar pushing.
Yeah, not
Being
much.
honest.
Could always have that little bit of insurance. Maybe a pillar needs to be pushed here. We'll see. With Georgia Tech, Syracuse up next. Tech back in the rankings. We'll see. Georgia Tech going into the Carrier Dome, laying 2.5 against Syracuse. Cuse last week impressive with McCord. Defense not so much, giving up a lot of rushing yards to Ohio. McCord looked good. Fran Brown was,
Ready to pass the bubbly.
Yeah, he was feeling himself and wanted to rub it in Day's face a little bit. I think he's okay with McCord out of there, anyways. But Haynes King, Joel Haynes, going up north. I mean, how impressive is that Georgia Tech right now? I don't know.
I don't know either. But I don't know about.
You can't go with McCord. I'm sorry. This is easy with Georgia Tech for me. I'm still.
Oh,
he had some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget what I was thinking. I have Syracuse under season win total this year. So yeah, I'm gonna double down here.
Ooh, nice.
I would think this is a must lose for that.
Yeah, their schedule has a ton of these kind of games.
Yep.
And so yeah, I gotta start pushing my own pillars here. Give me Haynes King. Find a way here. I think what Ohio just did running the ball. I think the 1-2 punch of RB QB for Georgia Tech can do the same, especially what they did against Florida State. So yeah, because they control the game here, control the line of scrimmage. Georgia Tech goes up there, wins outright by a touchdown.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have said that by the certainly before the season started, but Georgia Tech looking potentially formidable. So if they get this one, yeah, the rest of those teams,
they're circling that.
I'm going Tech also. I'm with you guys here.
Oh, here we go.
Yep. What?
I did not expect that.
I'm with you on Tech here. I like them to control it. I'll take them.
Cam was always taking the defensive McCord last year.
Mm-hmm. McCord is ass. I'm over it. I'm with Tech. With Key here. He will run the ball. It'll be gross. 23-20 win.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what are we picking it at?
2.5.
2.5. Okay, yeah. Just checking, making sure.
Just checking.
Sometimes the rust early in these picks. I did it. I wrote down a score last week that I was like, I can't say that.
We're all on GT, right? We're all on GT.
Yep.
All right.
All on GT. We head out to El Assico.
Oh, are we picking the over? Are we picking the total here?
I didn't. Actually, we can scroll down. We can find it here.
It's 33.5.
It was 35.5 this morning.
35.5. You're right.
Look, if we go back in the archives here, I am willing to bet I have picked Iowa State every time, but maybe one in this game. I'm done. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. Never works. So my cap is simple. I'm done picking Iowa State. They're down 2 linebackers. That's enough for me.
I think I'm in the same camp, but I'm not giving up on the clones.
He's due.
I feel like I also end up on them. It's always like, you got who was that goober, the lefty they had out there a couple years ago? I can't remember his name, but he sucked. And,
for Iowa State?
It's like, yeah, for Iowa State. They had some
before Purdy.
Well, I remember.
No, it was after Purdy.
After Purdy.
I remember they had a guy before Purdy, Sam Richardson. He was a
Oh, yeah,
righty, but
Super Bowl.
I remember we were
Super
watching
Bowl.
Super Bowl Richardson. We were watching, Rances one time, and he was getting tackled, so we threw it lefty. That guy was awesome. But yeah, I'm done. Credit to you, Dan, for riding this out.
I will, yeah. Have to
Uh,
handicap for Kirk coming back from suspension, right?
yeah. They're at home, 3 point. I think there's too much love on Iowa State this year. Everybody's expecting them to be dark horses in the Big 12. Decent year. I'm thinking playoff run here for Iowa. I'm going Kirk.
All right.
Could be in the cards. Number 14, Tennessee. Number 24, North Carolina State. This game is in Charlotte, I believe.
Yes.
Two new quarterbacks under center for the Wolfpack, Grayson McCall. And for the Vols, Nico Iamaleava.
Very, very smooth pronunciation. They're very well done.
Thank you. Iamaleava looked awesome last week.
How much have you been practicing?
I don't think I really have.
Wow. Natural. It's just a natural.
Natural.
I
Natural
guess
language.
that's one of those that just fits my tongue right, I guess.
Wow.
Iamaleava
Maybe
looked
you've
good
been
last
talking
week.
to Rand, not Rand. Maybe you've been talking to Roth a lot. Maybe that's
No, he's been pretty mum on the Vols.
wow.
And then
He said 69 nice.
he's been saying his
Because I
starts
think
for
they
this
won
week.
69-3.
Yeah. I mean, he played the first half last week. That's it. Grace McCall needed to play the whole game against the corpse that was left of Western Carolina. Unimpressive. What are we picking this at?
9.5, I think.
9.5. I don't want to overreact too much to last week.
Yeah, I'm not going to for this one if you're deliberating still.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm gonna take the points here.
Wow.
Pack pride.
I'm going Nico. I put the bet in at 7.5. All
Yeah,
right.
well, I think they're won by 9. So
Oh, very
there you
good.
go.
Like that. Well, I'll go 2 touchdown win here. I am buying on the Nico hype train. You know, I've got them in my playoffs. We're going.
All right.
They did look awesome last week, and people smarter than me said Iamaleava looks way better at running this offense than Milton did.
Yep.
And, you've only played one half, and it was against Chattanooga. So take that for what it's worth. Take that for what it's worth. But
Did he get in against? Did he play against what's her name? Iowa. Excuse me, Iowa.
Iowa in the game in the final game.
I feel like he got in at the end.
Oh,
I guess it was-
yeah, oh yeah, you're right.
He started the whole game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
oh, he did play the whole game.
He played the whole game, I think.
Buying in on the Vols. Rocky
Yeah,
Top.
I'm
All
in
right.
the Vols. I'm in the Vols.
Yeah, nice
Oh,
little
you're
groove
not
for the-
for this game. Or you got 9-point win. Dan, you're in with the pack. I'm riding solo.
Yeah, I'll just go 8-point win.
That was good. We all win. Oh, I won't win this bet or this pick, but
Somebody will win.
yes.
Somebody will. Buffs, Huskers. Football is great when Nebraska is good. Well, it's always great, but I think it's a little bit better when they are good. People always say, when Miami's back, it's better. For me, it's Nebraska. And they've been bad for a long time now. Laying 7.5 here to Coach Prime. Rayola, Shador. The Buffs defense looked like we thought they would last week. Nebraska looked good against UTEP, but
Who knows what that
who
means?
knows? I think I said in this pod last week I was looking for a better number on Nebraska this week. I didn't get it. So I still do not. I cannot trust Nebraska until I see it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm going to take the points because it's still early and the Buffs are healthy still. I don't think they can stop. They can't really play much defense.
Well,
still.
they look gross. They look gross
But
against
they can sling around the yard.
Bison. They can. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a game.
I think it's gonna be a close game. I'm gonna HP this though. Get just freaking win one of these. Rule. Nebraska wins an entertaining game by what 3-4 points.
Okay. I will also take those points. I think it'll be a good game within one score. I'm not buying. I think there'll be some freshman mistakes from Raiola. I think there'll be some non freshman mistakes from Colorado's defense. They were disgusting. I don't know what. I'm just tired of seeing Shiloh out there. Dion acting like he's like freaking Harold Perkins or no, like Jabril. He thinks he's Jabril Peppers back there.
He's ass.
He really thinks he's Jabril Peppers back there. So I think there'll be some stupid plays on both sides. I think it'll be an entertaining game. I'll take the 7 points here. I think for the sake of college football getting up in a tizzy, I'll take Dion to win like 31-30. That'd be amazing.
We're pretty much on the same line there. Like at least when it comes to the Raiola, at least the Dion players have proven themselves at various points. The team as a whole stringing together. And AY, you mentioned about the health factor for sure, but yeah, that's why I'm taking Dion to win as well.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything more annoying than a hype machine, it's an unproven hype machine. That is the Raiola.
Fair.
All right.
Boise, Oregon. Oregon laying 20.5. Boise coming off the shootout in Statesboro. Genty.
That was gross.
Six
that
tugs.
Defense was gross.
Defense looked very gross. Oregon, equally as gross, yet different. 24-14 win over the Vandals. When I saw that, I didn't know what to think. Dug into it.
Injuries,
untimely sacks. Like on third and manageable, like 8-yard sacks. Missed field goal, fumble, 2 turnover on downs. So, I mean, you saw Gabriel's numbers, 41 of 49 for 400 yards. Like how the heck? It didn't add up. So just little fundamental things. I think Oregon scores 56 this game.
I agree. I'm with you there.
And I think Boise scores like 30.
No,
34.
I don't know. They can do that on that defense. I think it'll be 50. I mean, 21, 56-21, I think.
Yeah, I'm good with that too, Ken.
50. I'll go 56-27.
All right.
I think Oregon just puts up a dump truck of points. Landon's going to be on them this week. This was the worst case scenario for Boise.
I agree. Yeah.
Going from that road game in Statesboro, the heat, the time zones. Now you're going up to Oregon, pissed off. I'm not worried about Oregon. And I think they put a thrashing.
Yep, me too. I bet them at 18.5, so I will continue to ride that.
Simple enough.
All right. Next one.
Arkansas, Okie State. Okie State laying 8 here after that win over 5 Dakota State.
Nice win also over 5 Dakota.
Very nice, yes.
I don't know where to think.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about Arkansas.
Sam.
The Pitman.
Yeah, only thing I know about him is he's going to be fired this year.
Plus he wins here.
So I guess if that's
After
what I know
bursting
about
into
them, then
state.
yeah, they're going to lose this game by 13 points. Bowman, Gordon, and Gundy lead the Pokes to victory over the Hogs.
You saw they got rid of the QR codes.
Oh, they did? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they had to. Yeah, the NCAA.
Where was that in the news?
No go.
If I saw that, I would have put it in the news.
It's a no go on the QRs.
That's pretty good. I will take the Pitman. I obviously expected Gundy to be in a dogfight last week. Was not I won't waver off that, but I hope he still wins again. He is one of my playoff teams.
He's a pit man. I will go Gundage here by 10.
Okay. Fun game here. K-State traveling down to Louisiana, take on Tulane.
How did who's it? It's the guy from Troy. What's his name?
Just can't get Willie Fritz out of my head.
No, it's the guy from Troy. Somerville or Summerall.
Tyson Summers.
Summerall's first game, wasn't it? How'd he do? John Summerall's first game in Tulane. How did he do?
They won
Yeah.
52 zip.
Yeah. Okay.
They played PSU. Oh no, that was in women's volleyball. Sorry.
Portland State.
They played. Who did they play? They played Louisiana.
Southeastern Louisiana.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if I can take anything out of that, so I will. I saw Avery Johnson did not look that impressive in this first game. Avery. I'll take Tulane here with the points at home. Kansas State does weird things and gets in weird games. I think they'll win by 8 here. I'll go 28-20.
Yeah, this game was weird. What, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
This game was pretty weird then. I know Tulane. I know we're going to talk about Memphis next week, but Tulane Memphis end of the year is going to be awesome. I'm looking to get some more data points on this Green Wave squad because I don't have it right now. Yeah, but we'll get a good one this week. But yes, I do think Tulane's a good team. I know I have K-State by playoff, 9 points. The spread should tell you that, yeah, they're a good team. So I'm going to take the points here at home. On the field, won't be surprised either. But K-State wins, but doesn't cover.
All right. I will go with K-State winning and covering. I guess for nothing else other than the sake of argument.
Sure.
Okay. You want to took Tulane also?
Yep.
They still have that guy. Is this guy the same who was on there? Makai Hughes? No, I'm thinking of a different one.
Okay.
Kansas, Illinois. Kansas number 19. K-State was 17. So that'll be a fun little. Was that the Sunflower? Whatever that rivalry is.
Sunflower State.
Yeah.
Sunflower Showdown.
There it
Kansas,
is.
5.5 point favorites over Burt. I think Illinois is not good. I know Cam might take him for SOS here, but no.
Altmaier looked pretty good in that first game. He was dropping dimes against Eastern Illinois and the fighting Romos.
Yeah, no. Give me Kansas, give me Kansas here. Healthy margin.
Me too. I'm on the rock chalk.
I'll take it too in solidarity here, but
You can pick Bird if you want to.
no. I've seen Bird. I saw them get absolutely sliced up last year. I'm not about to get off that wagon. That's
gonna be I wish we could. Well, I guess I suppose I could figure out how to do it. Clip sound bites from this. Altmaier looked pretty good.
All right, last one before Holy Try. App State.
Yeah, we're pushing here. Fortunately, our games aren't very interesting.
App State traveling to Little Death Valley to on Clemson. Clemson laying 17 here against Joey Aguilar and the boys from Boone. I mean, I think I have Clemson in my playoff too, but I'm definitely taking these 17 points.
Yeah.
I just think it's too much. App State's a good team, and I don't think the club has the firepower in him to blow out App State with a good offense. Aguilar, Kanye Roberts, these guys Although App State could be looking at Liberty, but that wouldn't make any sense because if they win this game, that'd be a bigger feather than Liberty's cap than Liberty. But
I'll
yeah,
say.
App State doesn't win, but keeps it close.
Okay.
Feels too easy to take the Mounties for me. Now, I think I asked this question. Did Clem get banged up at all from that Georgia game?
I don't think so.
Okay. In which case, that was the only thing I was curious. I was thinking we're talking about the Francois game against Bama with Florida State all those years ago. How it literally wrecked them for years on end.
It really did.
Instead, it might just wreck any credibility if Clemson ends up winning the ACC. So I will go with I'll lay him with Clem.
I think it's down to 17 now. I've gone back and forth with this. Again, another one that I won't touch with a 10-foot pole. I do think Club could be ass. I'll take Clem to bounce back here. 42, 21, 35 to 14, something like that. 21-point win.
You just mentioned, Dan, about Clemson getting banged up. I really didn't think about handicap that for the season-long play in the future. With them being portal phobic, the depth issues for them would mean like freshmen.
Right, and it was how many people? It was
That's not ideal when you get into
14,
November.
I think they lost 14. They had 14 outgoing, 0 incoming.
Yeah, so
that cited it ad nauseum. It was them and the academies that have not taken any transfers in the portal.
that's something to watch. I should have thought of that last week. Oh well. Yeah, we'll see if they bounce back here this week. 3 Holy Try games this week. We're all in action. Ball State is in action for their season opener as well. Purdue's on a bye this week, as we mentioned earlier. The first game on – actually, you guys are both at noon, but we'll go with Pitt Cincinnati first. H2P traveling to Nippert, catching 1.5.
Yeah, two things I left out from my recap. That Rodney Hammond is suspended for the season.
Oh,
Rumored to be because of gambling allegations.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I don't think they'll go public with it because they don't have to. But that was the buzz because he was not injured. I mean, if they do academic ineligibility, I mean, what are we doing here? So it's for Pitt. It used to be back in the day. It used to always be weed. If they failed, drug test 4 times or something ridiculous like that, then they'd be out. But they will be without Rodney Hammond's services for the season, which, I mean, I really liked him. I know Mark Whipple really liked him. The involvement since has not taken that natural trajectory up. So I don't know what the deal is. But he won't be in the team, in the squad this year. And then also apparently Kenny Pickett was booed at the game. I saw a headline about that. Did not see it. So that's what it's really.
Was Carlo pissed?
I would imagine so. Yeah, I don't know
Why
why
do you boo
people
him?
would boo Kenny. That's what I said. I don't know how you. I mean, it's the best season in certainly my lifetime that he led them to. I don't know
I
how.
don't know how you do that.
Yeah, but Steelers, just as if there needed to be any more question of whether or not it was a Steelers town. There you have it. But Cincinnati, they got the guy from Indiana. I was looking up earlier. Sorsby, yeah.
He threw 2 bombs against Penn State last year.
Yeah, I
I
have.
guess one of them was really a catch and run, not really a bomb. Oh no, maybe both of them were. I forget.
And they've got a running back transfer from Ohio State whose name's evading me. But I mean, they had a really tough year.
Trey Annam? Is it Trey Annam?
The running back?
He went to Kentucky, didn't he?
He did?
Is it Corey
He is at
Kiner?
Kentucky. You're right. He is at Kentucky. Who's the guy? Who did
No, I will pull it up real quick because I don't have much else to add because it's going to be a very telling game Incoming transfers, Ohio State.
Because Dalen Haddon went to
Evan Pryor. There you go.
Pryor.
Evan
Oh,
Pryor.
he's a 5-star.
Yeah.
He came in
So-
the same year as what's his face? I think Henderson.
Travion.
Yes.
So they, following their victory at Pitt last year, they won one more game. Whereas Pitt won 2, so I guess Pitt's got a leg up on them in that department. But it's not. It was one of those instances where the game certainly was an eyesore, and then both teams were what we thought they were after watching that eyesore.
All right.
And I think it's probably not going to be that much better. Pitt needs to be certainly cleaner in multiple areas of the game. I would say all 3 phases. They gave some big plays to Kent State, had the aforementioned punt return fumble that was not – because the reason why I was saying that, by the way, my understanding is if it's a muff punt, it can't be advanced. And I don't know if that's an NFL rule or if that's –
No, it is. It's a rule.
Yeah. So, again, it was a caught punt, ran a half a yard, fumbled. Thus, Kent State was able to run it in for a touchdown.
Okay.
So, that and, I don't know. I mean, I don't like the Ken Palm overreaction that I shared with you guys, having Pitt as 13-point favorites thereabouts. So I will go, and I think I had this game. I can't remember if I initially picked Pitt to win this game or the West Virginia game. I know I had them starting 3-1 to their season, but I think they dropped this one, actually. Unfortunately, it will not be played on the CW for those that were hoping for such. A return trip to the CW. It will be on ESPN2, I believe.
I see.
Happy to be wrong. First time I'm saying that this year, whenever I pick Pitt to lose.
Yep.
I was on Pitt last week. I said this year I'm not going to be on as much until they prove me wrong and round with Pitt. I like what I saw out of this.
Or you mean until they let you down?
Yeah, until they let me down. I like what I saw out of this Western Carolina offense. So, yeah, give me Pitt.
Okay.
There was I think they have a guy on the team called Poppy. Goes by Poppy, not his actual first name. And the broadcast I caught, I was in and out of the broadcast, and it was like one of maybe the best route runner in the country. I didn't know that. We had maybe the best route runner in the country, so there's that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You glossed over the most important game note here. They're honoring the 2008 Big East champions here.
That's right. Yeah.
Cincinnati.
What is it? 08 or 09? Because they won both years. Both years they had to go through Pitt near the end of the season. Obviously, one.
It might be the 09 one. I guess that would make sense, right? As a 15-year.
Yeah.
You're right.
That is a game trend, without a doubt.
Irregardless.
Is Brian Kelly going?
He's still, you've been cheering
Maybe
on
he's
him.
so fed up that he's going to go for to be honored by Cincinnati.
It's funny. What if he did the double? What if they had a new? What time is this
The
game?
PJ,
Yeah. No, I don't think he'll likely not be able to make it for this one unless they played a Thursday night game, which I know they're not because they're not playing right now. I will go Cincinnati here, riding that momentum and that home. No, I mean I'm buying a little bit of stock in Holstein.
All right.
It's
It's an
Cincinnati at home. Yep.
That's our hope right there. Eli Holstein.
Well, Dan, you took Cincy?
I took Cincy. Yeah, I took Cincy.
AY, who you took Pitt.
Pitt.
You took Pitt. All right. I will jump in here. Won't dive too deep again on this one. Bowling Green, like I said, one of the better back teams out there. They've got Bazelak back in there. It seems like
I love it.
It seems like
How many times have
years
you played Bazelak, and for how many different schools?
Right, ages ago, he was the SEC Freshman of the Year. Do you remember that? At Mizzou?
Yes.
Yes. He was at Indiana as well. And now he has found a home for Leffler and the Bowling Green Eagles. They've been pretty good. They went through a rebuild a little bit ago. He's kind of breathed some life back into them. They won against Toledo a couple of times. It was always a top dog out there in the MAC. They returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown last week, opening kickoff of the season, and so some nice momentum. I think they'll come in here, put up a decent fight. Now the weather isn't supposed to be good, so I think we got to take that into account here with the 34.5. But who are we kidding? We're dealing with Jimmy Covers over here.
I will not be taking that into consideration.
I think a couple of things to watch as a Penn State fan. I think they'll look to continue to rest some guys that have been nicked up. Caden Saunders, Penn State's primary punt returner, he was out there returning punts, but he fair caught everything, did not play a snap on offense. I think he's dealing with some type of lower body injury, probably prohibiting him from running. So I think you'll see him and guys like Khalil Dinkins, who would return back to the field at tight end this week in practice, though was out for last week in West Virginia. I think you'll see him maybe try to get his legs back under him. You think you'll see a lot of guys subbing in and out, much deeper play or participation chart here for the week as Penn State looks to try to get people involved. I think you'll see Jules, pride of Catawissa, getting back in there in the stat column. Though he had a big impact, even though he didn't have a catch. He's great blocking, good blocking out there. He was big and played a big part in impacting the play on 2 of the touchdown catches.
Maybe I'll put this on whenever we get a Fleming mention.
The pride of Catawissa, I think we'll see him get a touchdown here in front of the home fans. I think you'll get some play maybe from the pride.
It's Bowling Green. Who are we picking here?
I'm telling you who to bet on here. Who some player props.
This is advice. We're liable for this advice.
What are we doing?
I'm going with the cover here. I don't think Bowling Green can get the more than 14 points, so I'll go 56-13.
You mentioned it. The weather. It's going to rain. I'll take the points. Terrion Stewart breaks a run. Jimmy's going to try his damnedest to cover, though.
He will.
But I'm going to take him with the cover just so when Jimmy does cover, I can still be mad next week at him trying to cover.
Are you taking into consideration weather, Dan?
I'm not. No, yeah, I'm taking Penn State. I don't care
right.
about the weather. They're going to cover.
Okay.
All right, Northern Illinois, a better MAC team. I don't know. Miami, Ohio is probably the best. We'll get to them in a few weeks.
You've been hiding all pod.
That's too many points. Give me Northern Illinois. We've seen this song at the National Notre Dame plenty of times. Flat spot. Don't run Leonard. Work on pass game. Way closer than it should be. I just don't see them scoring a lot, even though the quarterback had 5 touchdowns and 2 incompletions last week. That's amazing. But Notre Dame's defense is really good.
But is Rocky Lombardi still their quarterback?
No. Notre Dame wins 30, won by 17. Maybe the D gives up some points. I don't know. NIU covers. And
I'll go with the same.
Way closer than it should be. Early.
Way closer.
Whoa.
I'm thinking like
Early.
vibe.
Early. It could be like a touchdown at halftime.
You think they're going to need a championship drive from Cone?
I just think the offense won't get going.
I'll take the points here also, I guess. If we're all aboard the same train, I'll go, 24.1 for Notre Dame.
Oh, we're on the Huskies. Okay. All right. As we get to our locks, Dan, not on the board yet. Usually is.
Oh, yeah. I meant to type it.
But it's one that
I
we
decided on something. I put an asterisk by it on my picks. asterisk applied on my picks. I had shit. Oh, Iowa State. Duh.
Oh gosh.
I'm doubling down. I think I locked them up a lot of the years too. The same game with no. Hold on, I typed it wrong.
Wow. Double break point too. It's finally some life.
Pagula. Doing it
Um,
for not only is she doing it for the U.S., she's doing it for the Bills and Mafia and Penn State.
that would make Ken
No.
happy. I'm
That was so funny that you said that when we were meeting, because I was just saying last night about people inserting them or shoehorning them into their, I guess, fan bases.
True.
Ken. Do you have a first half line for us?
I've got the line is higher than elsewhere, but I do have Oregon at -11 first half. You can get it at BetMGM right now. The normal line is around 12.5, 13. I still like it there. I'll take Oregon up to -13.5, 2 touchdowns. They're up 2 touchdowns at the half.
All right. Can making it a thing. His first half line.
I like it. I like it.
Play of the
Ken.
week. You do that a lot in hoop too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, true.
It's true. It's true.
It's true.
And then we get the text. It's been chronicled. We get the text. What is Self doing when it's tied? 8-8. Iapui or something like that. And I have no idea. I'm not going to weigh in on this. The first 7 minutes of this Kansas, Arkansas Pine Bluff game.
Oh, it's funny you just mentioned that state, because that's what I'm going for. My lock this week.
Oh,
This is just
he's been teasing it.
This is just a true test of week 1 overreaction. I'm just gonna. If Wyoming line was out, I would back them, but it's not out, so I can't. So you gotta hold your nose here.
Yeah, I meant to check that.
We're going to Arkansas State -7.5 against Tulsa. Like Arky State had the 8.7 post-game win percentage last week against Central Arkansas in a win. Just truly historic. Pulling one out of the fire. I had zero business winning that game. Tulsa's not good. They're bad. They're worse than Central Arkansas. And I think a bounce back spot here is needed. And will come. So give me the Red Wolves comfortably.
What's the line?
7.5. What we had 6.5 earlier in the week, so we got on that. But for pod purposes, 7.5.
Yes. I'll also make sure to put in mine at 12.5 because there's 113 out there, but the consensus is 12.5. Mine for pod purposes, Oregon 1H is 12.5.
We're going pod line. We're going pod time for our lines on here. But if you're waiting until Thursday for wagers, then you're missing out on some good stuff.
Or you could be getting
or you could be waiting on a number. Yeah. Depending where the market goes.
Exactly.
Okay. There we have it. Week 2 preview in the books, as I believe it's halftime in KC, and Pagula is getting good
with life.
She needs this set. She has life though. For me, anything else? I don't think so. Ken, are you going out this weekend?
I'm not. I will.
Other commitments.
Other commitments. I don't think that there'll be any spoilers because I don't think she watches it. But other family commitments going on here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I spilled the beans, Eddie.
Other commitments. Dan threatening Flushing, and
yeah, the threat is over. Unfortunately,
threat is over. Okay, well, I'll be watching.
Yes, I will. I'll rest up for the return trip. Hopefully in 2025. Not return. Inaugural trip.
Inaugural. The pilgrimage.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. For me, anyway, for Beautiful State Capital, who said comment, Pennsylvania. For D-Berg to my west.
Good night, all.
And for Ken to my east.
Have a great night, guys.
Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next week. Have a good one.